Sometimes if you're lucky, you really do get to do what you love at work. And today, I get to build a keyboard. The Nooir Klavier II. Clavier, I'm not 100% sure. But what I am sure of is that this is the world's first art mechanical keyboard. Whatever that means, I don't entirely know yet. I was given a pile of stuff and told to build a board. So what we've got here is probably keycap set. Yes, that's a cool stylized keycap set. Get some JTK beige as a free gift. I love free gifts. That means it's for me. That means I get to take these home. Just kidding. We've also got a few others. Red, beige, and other slightly different beige. All right, what else have we got? Stabilizers, screw-in stabilizers. You're gonna need some of these as you build your board. Oh my God, these are good stabilizers. Or it's a nice kit at least anyway. I haven't looked up a guide on how to build this board, so we'll see, but this should all be pretty intuitive. We've actually got 2 sets of screw-in stabilizers. I don't know why, this is probably enough, but we've got 2 of them. So we've got JTK keycaps, probably more of that beige set. Yep. Oh. Red beige original. So this is the actual full keycap set. What I really want to see is what's in this box. Nooir. It's even got a peel on here. Oh baby, that didn't peel off very well at all. I 100% ripped off the O in the I. Let me try to. And they like I wasn't peeling that aggressively. Okay, I got them on. Okay, there we go. Fixed. It never happened because it feels pretty premium. Oh my gosh. Oh hell yeah. You know, the beige would look pretty good in this actually. Looks like we got the white one instead of the black. And, oh, I think I know why they're calling it the first art keyboard. Oh my God, it's heavy. Under the little staircase. Okay, let's see how long I can hold this. We've got a whole bunch of like foams and inserts. Case foam, yep, cool. Oh, okay, I'm putting it down. Oh my God. Then we've got our little user manual. I would love build instructions. Like I know probably how to put this together, but installation, open the top cover. Place case foam B and C, place the assembled keyboard sandwich, connect the flat cable. Turn clockwise to increase tension, resulting in a heavier typing feel. All right, I will save this for later, for when I build, because you know, that might actually come in handy. Now what else we got? All the screws, I'm guessing. Here we've got all of our, these little keys, I'm guessing for the leaf springs or whatever, and then we've just got all our like case screws, PCB screws. I would love it if these were actually labeled as that instead of just like M26, M24, and oh, it's wireless. Oh yeah, this is probably for the battery or something. So we've got our dongle. That's the easy part. Now the hard part is putting it together, which, you know, shouldn't actually be all that hard. 4.8 kilos, which is 10.67 pounds. It's heavy. I do like the integrated wrist rest that it's got going on. I love seeing the internals too. That's so cool. It's got a little branding stamp on there. The bottom is super cool too, because it's actually like multiple pieces, and it's like indented here. Like this is all you can put your fingers in here and stuff. It's not like one solid piece, which is a little surprising. And I love that even the front, like it's really solid all the way up to the end there. 2 little bar guys in the front, 2 vertical bars in the back that are curved slightly, maybe for the extra weight so that these compress down. I don't know. Okay, so literally all I should do now is take the PCB from this pile, take the other films and stuff, because they'll go in different layers, and then you just put it together and then pop it down, which is actually really cool and really kind of ingenious. I don't know what, whoa, it can go even hurt. Oh, and you can see the mechanical, what the fuck? Check this out. So that's, even that is so satisfying. But like, watch these guys on the bottom here. They like move down and out of the way. Why? I don't know, but they do. What will they think up next? I don't know. I gotta get this little ribbon cable out of there though. I don't want that to get chomped. Okay, I'm gonna move this out of the way a little bit. And let's see what we've got here. This is our pour-on foam plate and underswitch PE layer. This is our printed circuit board case foam A. Peel off the plastic and attach the adhesive side to the back of the PCB. Okay, we've got our foams in there. They didn't tell me to peel any adhesive backing off, so I didn't. That shouldn't make a massive difference in sound anyway, just having a little bit extra peel on there, so whatever, I left it. Case foam A, peel off the film and attach it to the back of the PCB. Sure, that's easy. Yes. Yeah. Printed circuit board, which we've got. Underswitch PE layer. Or actually, the ribbon cable goes pretty deep. I wonder if it does go, yeah, it must go in the bottom. Okay, cool. Where's the space bar? Yeah, space bar's down there. Okay. Instead of using our Teflon or our shims, we've got these little rubber pads that came with the stabilizer pack. And I've never used these before or seen them before, so I kind of want to try them today. I don't know if they're meant to go along with the shims and the pads or not, but I'm gonna use them just kind of as they are, because it seems to me like you're just adding rubber instead of Teflon, and that sounds like a good idea, so let's try it. Let's build our stabilizers and install them on our PCB. I gotta say, I love this like blue speckled finish on these stabilizers. Like, it sucks because you never see them, like once the board's built, but these are really pretty. Okay, now my favorite part, screwing in stabilizers. I'm kidding, this is my least favorite part. I'm gonna add the washers anyway, just in case those little rubber guys, actually, yeah, they're all on this side. So yes, definitely still wanna add your washers. And this is where the tiny screws are abound, and you can lose them very easily. Now I need my tiny, tiny screwdriver. We've got one here from lttstore.com. Perfectly fine. Jeweler's kits or glasses repair kits. That's what I was using before we did this. Okay, now that we've got all of our stabilizers built, only 3 for this guy, that's not too bad. We're gonna put this film down, and then we're gonna pop one of them on first. Stabilizers are in. We're just gonna throw this last foam layer right here. Okay, now we'll just pop our plate on. And now the best part, where we install 63, 65, 67 switches, however many this takes. And I've got 3 options here. All 3 are lubed, so that's great. These look the same. These are black and purple. Ooh, they do sound lubed and nice. Okay, and then what are these? I think they're just more of them, because they also look black and purple, but are they? No, also linear. All right, so these have got to be the same. Linear, nylon top, nylon bottom, palm stem, 15mm spring, 50 to 62 grams actuation. These are the same switches. We've got the fancy jar, so these are gonna be a little lighter, but they come in this cool can. These nice amber looking ones aren't available at launch, so I'm gonna use the nice little purple guys. These are a little heavier anyway, and I prefer kind of a heavier linear, so it's like a 2 gram difference or 3 grams or something, but whatever, it makes a difference, so we're gonna use those. And start populating. It took quite a bit of struggling, to be honest, to get this plate. Like, I genuinely had to stretch it a little bit to get it to fit over these stabilizers, to the point where I started installing them upside down, in case maybe something had gone wrong at the factory, but no, that wasn't working any better, and so I flipped them all back to the right way. I literally had to like struggle and stretch. We weren't rolling the camera at the time because, I mean, I figured, you know, this is gonna take a little while. But yeah, it's on, and I want this to stay on, so I'm gonna start putting switches in. Pretty simple, you just line up these pins with the little holes in the board or the little pegs on the side as well, and you just try to push them in straight down. They should go in really easily. If they don't, take it out, inspect your pins, make sure they're not bent. If they are bent, take some needle nose pliers and just squeeze them straight again and try again. Their plate works, and it feels like palm, so it's an okay material, but I don't know if the tolerances are just really tight or what it is, but yeah, I've never had to struggle this much putting a plate. But now that it's on, yep, switches are just going in. Okay, now that our keyboard sandwich is built, the only thing left is to eat it. And by that, I mean throw it in our case. And I'm gonna do it again because it's so satisfying, oh my gosh. Okay, so this ribbon cable is gonna plug in down here. Okay, that should be in. Oh, all right, the only thing left is to screw it all down, but I'm not gonna do that until I tell you about our sponsor. If you're spending some time in a new country, you can be punished pretty hard by your wireless provider for Googling, when does the next bus come? Saley is an affordable eSIM provider that is not just going to save you money, but time as well. No more hunting down coffee shops just to connect to your email. No more waiting in line at an airport kiosk for a less than trustworthy mobile provider. Just download the app once and you're good to go, even across multiple countries. Get an exclusive 15% discount on Saley data plans. Use code ShortCircuit at checkout. Download the Saley app or go to saley.com/shortcircuit.
There's nothing sour about the savings you'll unlock during our annual Lime Day sale this year. From fully loaded backpack offers to ergonomic desk pad bundles, there is something for everyone. And for today only, you can treat your furry friends with a cozy pet cave for 45% off. Check out the sale today using our link in the video description, and new customers can save even more, getting $10 off any purchase of $50 or more.
So next we've got 8 screws. I'm guessing it's these M24 T5 screws. We're just gonna do our corners first, and we're not gonna screw everything down all the way. Once we've got our 4 corners, then I'll tighten it down and then I'll put in the rest of the screws. One kind of minor annoying thing, these are labeled as T5s, which is great. I didn't realize that. Use the T5, so you're not gonna be able to use the little Phillips head. So it's kind of annoying that they don't actually send you a little like Allen wrench or something for this keyboard. It's all screwed in. Oh, that's so satisfying. And you can like adjust these to adjust the tension, like right there. That's super cool. And then that locks it in. I don't know why. It's so cool. Now we put keycaps on and hope that I did it right and it turns on. Actually, we should try to test that before. Is there an on-off switch somewhere too? Because it is wireless.
I think it's right on the bottom. Oh yeah.
Giant on-off switch on the bottom, so you have to look for that. Yeah, okay, she's working. Hell yeah, just took a little bit of time to warm up and boot up, but she is working away. So let me put some keycaps on here, and then we'll do a typing test. Okay, we put all our keycaps on. I will say, the typeface is a little hard to read sometimes. Some of the letters look uppercase and then some of them look lowercase. Luckily, you know, this comes in a little case and it's all laid out perfectly, so it wasn't too hard, and I've got a laptop here to check if I ever was confused. Ooh, the bump is very minuscule on the home row indicator, and I kind of like that. It's there, and so you can feel it, but my only gripe, just putting my fingers down on this thing, is the spacebar feels a little too low compared to the rest of the like wrist rest here, but I'm not sure how I feel about it until I type on it. So let's check it out. As you can see, we've tested it. Everything's working. All our keys are good to go. It is wireless. It's got Bluetooth 2.4 gigahertz dongle that I've installed here and wired obviously as well, and it works for Mac and Windows. The battery is 4,000 milliamp hours. Not terrible. Obviously there's RGB in this thing. Very hard to see with the current configuration, so take that as you will. Now let's do our typing test. Monkey type. Sounds satisfying. It's pretty good right out of the box. Let's try monkey type. I do like this. $85.93 is not terrible, but it's definitely not my best either. Yeah, I'm not crazy about this dip here. As much as the glass is beautiful and I love seeing everything in here, I would love, instead of having like a free floating thumb, I'd like it if it was solid. I don't know, maybe you type on it more and you get used to it. 112.97. It's still not my best, but you know, it's not bad. It's not the worst, but it's not the best either. There's something missing. And I wonder if it's like the internals of this thing, because they're so complicated. I wonder if that's actually messing with the sound profile. I might go so far as to remove one of the layers of foam. Maybe the utmost bottom case foam, and maybe that would make it, because it just seems a little too quiet, but I guess that's what a lot of people are looking for. Otherwise, like, visually striking, and easily, in terms of pure visuals, like probably the coolest keyboard I've ever built or looked at. I will say, now that it's assembled, how easy is it to like open? Yeah, I don't know how you're supposed to get this thing open once the keyboard's in there. Come on, I'm so close. Yeah. So, okay, you can open and close it without the keycaps coming off, but like, that was not easy, and I don't know, God, it's so freaking cool. I think that if you want this because of what it is, that is perfectly fine, and I would not question that for a second. I don't know how much it costs. They're gonna tell me off camera, and I'm probably gonna be a little shocked, because I'm guessing the whole thing is pretty expensive considering like the internal mechanisms and how much thought has gone into all of this. It is absolutely stunning, and I don't think there's a lot of prices that I wouldn't buy it at. The Kickstarter is gonna be done before this video goes up, but it might be available on their website afterwards. How much is it?
$9.99.
$1,000?
For just the base. If you want the switches and keycaps as well, It is $13.50.
That's American dollars. I think I was expecting like $500, maybe even like $600 or $700, but $1,000. I'm not saying that the artistry and craftsmanship isn't there. It really is. This is incredible. And even having to take off a couple keycaps now to like pull this up, that sucks, but it's still very, like, super doable. You know, just pop this guy up. I can completely understand why a lot of you are still gonna buy this. I think it's very bespoke. I think that you can't find this anywhere else. And considering the labor into just the design, let alone constructing this thing, it's probably a fair price. I hate to say that because it's exorbitantly expensive, and I'm not gonna buy one at that price, but is it incredibly unique and one of a kind? Yeah. And you know who else is unique and one of a kind? This guy! JK, this is ShortCircuit. This is the Nooir Klavier II, K2. Beautiful piece of design. Can't recommend it unless you're just like really looking for that ultimate desk piece and you have a ton of expendable income. If you want to look at another video we just did, check out the SF60 from Wuche. That's, you know, also very nice keyboard. Definitely not $1,000.